So my one fundamental lesson for social change is this. If you care about social justice, follow the money. Here's what I mean. So let's imagine that what you care about is international development. You want to make a real mark on the UN Sustainable Development Goals in places that have the greatest deprivation. So UN SDGs, you really care about making a mark on that. The latest estimate we have says we need $4 trillion every year to do that. The infrastructure we need to make a mark needs $4 trillion every year. We have a lot of conversations about what that means in terms of international aid. But if you think about the amount of international aid, that's 150 billion, way less than 4 trillion a year. Where else does the money come from? Well, let's add up everything that the multilateral banks, the World Bank and everyone else puts into it. So including World Bank. Gets you to a higher figure, but you're still only at 1 trillion out of 4 trillion every year. So if you really want to make a mark on international development and on the UN SDGs, the big question to ask is where's the money coming from? That's what you want to try and make a real mark on. Is it coming from local taxes in the places we're talking about? I think that's deeply important. Not only does it mean that there's more money, it means the money comes through local governments, through people being able to participate in their politics. Or does it come through the private sector? That's also important. It doesn't have participation and political accountability, but it's an important part of what makes the world tick. And so if you're really interested in social change internationally, the first question to ask is where is the money? And in particular, where's the money coming in from? We'll see that as different from the two other questions that I think are important. So that's one part of where following the money takes you. Where's the money coming from? Let's imagine instead that you really want to make a mark at home, here in the UK. So the UK government, centrally, spends 1 trillion a year. We spend 15% of that on health. The NHS is a deeply priced institution, so we spend 15%. We spend 14% on aspects of welfare. Similarly, we spend roads and buildings get 11%. Pensions for our elderly population, well, that takes 10%. Now we're getting quite far down and you're thinking, where's education and defence? Education is 7%, defence is 4%, everything else is the remaining 39%. The big question if you want to make a mark of social change in Britain is, are we spending in the right areas? We've talked about where the money's coming from, but if you want to make a mark on social justice, where's the money going? And should we change that to prioritise better? So second question, if you're following the money, is where's the money going? I think the third question you should ask yourself, in any context when you're thinking about social change, is this. How is the money being managed? And so let's imagine you care about something that I care deeply about, which is our public services. Over a third of our colleges are in deficit. They spend more than they get in every year. Over a quarter of our NHS trusts are in deficit. They're also in the red. They spend more every year than they get in. Almost a quarter of secondary schools are in deficit. They spend more than they get every year. So if you're caring about the fundamental institutions in our public services, the ones that pursue social change, social justice, and services for the most needy in our country, you should ask, how can that change? In particular, how is the money managed? Look, these aren't the most exciting questions at first sight, but they're the most important ones in most contexts. Fundamentally, I feel social justice is nothing without financial justice. And if you care about financial justice, the starting question is follow the money. Where is it coming from? Where is it being spent? And how is it managed?
How do you feel?
Pretty good.
Yeah. I love that. This is going to be in a B-roll, mate. Thank you so much. All right. Listen, everyone, you heard it here. Kanishka's classroom lesson. Follow the money.